Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special episode of The Weigh-In. The title of today's episode is Jason Voorhees, The Perfect Boyfriend. Holy shit. Let's go.
Let's do it.
So in this episode, I would like to talk about the 5 qualities that make Jason Voorhees the perfect boyfriend. Number 1.
Bring it on.
He loves his mama.
Boy, he does he ever.
Mrs. Pamela Voorhees.
First film, nobody knew she was coming out of that boat to the end, and that's still a powerful scene to this time. Even to this day, it still holds up.
1980 that film came out.
Saw that in the theater with my wife just before we got married.
Isn't that romantic?
You know, back then, a lot of younger kids our age, we always went to the openings of these movies because we hadn't seen slasher films before.
Okay.
Prior to this film here, everything was all about mystery, darkness, spooks, scares, and all that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, we got the era of the slasher. And holy shit, was it insane.
Everything changed. And you got to think about this. When you're dealing with a mama's boy.
Yeah.
That's a man who's not afraid to show emotions or entrails.
Yeah. Well, you know how, like, even around that same time, even with the Halloween film, it was about an estranged young man who had a problem with the family and died, the whole 9 yards. I mean, those guys that were making all those films back then, they must have all hung together, I'm guessing, you know?
They probably definitely hung together. and think about this. A mama's boy is also someone who respects a woman's sexuality, okay? But he also, if you're having premarital sex, he'll stab you through the fucking heart.
Well, not only that, he'll stab you through the neck like Kevin Bacon got it with the arrow at the end of that movie. Remember that scene there?
Such a good scene.
And another thing too is, like, if there's a flashback sequence in one of those Jason films, let's say before he's crazy and he's with a young woman, I mean, you can almost imagine if his mother had a bigger role, she could have been the one that was like just as manipulative as he was. Like,
absolutely.
I'm going to kill that girl because she's taking advantage of my crazy son. You know?
Absolutely. And think about the fact that a mama's boy is someone who knows how hard a mama's job is.
No doubt about it.
And especially if it means getting revenge for their son.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, man. You know, it really is true.
So think about this. That's one element, ladies, that makes Jason Voorhees the perfect boyfriend, okay? Number 2. This man can keep a job. It's spooky. Yo, it's spooky. The whole day has been spooky.
What?
Okay.
Wait.
What the?
That can't be nothing.
Dude, now I'm getting freaked out, bro. I'm getting freaked out, bro.
You didn't tell one of your friends to be hanging out in the store, did you?
No.
All right, folks, just ignore that.
Okay. Yeah, holy. Okay. Yeah, he can keep a job. Okay. This dude's been tooling around Camp Crystal Lake forever, okay? Making sure that the kids stay in line. This dude knows how to keep a head count, okay?
Oh, yeah, he does.
Even if he has to physically take those
if he takes that head off and he does a little bowling ball with it.
35 years he's been working at this camp, okay?
Man, 35 years.
That's a hard-working man, okay? Ladies are biologically hardwired to be attracted to a man who's a provider, and Jason's a provider, okay? He's a lifeguard. He's got that machete. He must be a chef too, okay? This is a man that you Jason's a catch. Like this, Mr. Voorhees is a catch, okay?
Oh, he really is. As a guy you want to take home to your mother, you know.
Speaking of, qualities that, since the dawn of time have been, attractive to women, he's the strong, silent type.
He truly is.
Dude, that shit always scared me. Did you heard it again? Dude.
As soon as you said that.
You're
fucking with me, man.
No, dude. And you,
I heard it again.
Dude.
All right, I'm going to ignore it. It's got to be next door.
Yo, I don't know, dude. Right. But you heard it that time, though. Because I literally heard it, okay? That is not being... Y'all heard that, too. If this episode comes out... man, I don't know.
If it comes out, we obviously survived.
Yeah, hopefully this episode comes out. Okay. So, the fourth thing, Jason loves to commune with nature. He loves to take long walks and engage with people. You know, put a knife through you. Okay. He keeps the forest clean of humans. Yeah, dude. It always fascinated me how people would be running for their lives, top speed. You know, like Jesse Owens in the Olympics. Jason's just strolling.
Yeah, they make like 3 miles on him, and before you know it, he's right there. It's like, what the fuck is going on, man?
Dude, you gotta love it. And then like the heroine would always trip on like some kind of branch, and then he's just
yeah.
Like,
she'd find one little branch, and all of a sudden she'd wake up, and the knife would go through the top of her head. You know.
Dude, and fun fact, and I haven't talked about this yet, but as a child, Jason was the one horror villain that scared me to death. Okay. The one that really triggered something in me.
Well, I was about 2021 when the first film came out, more or less. So you had to be around what, like 17, 16?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's enough to knock you right out.
Dude, it's enough to make you shit your pants, okay?
and you were underage too. Back then, the R-rated films, you could get in on that. You could get into
yes.
back then. They didn't care. They wanted everybody to be a fucking killer back then.
And in seeing this, and there was no cell phones, there's no internet, and there's no way of knowing that something like this couldn't happen. Like, it really intensified the horror for me.
Oh, it sure did, man.
Like, it really blew my mind. Another thing, Jason. He's not afraid to let his hair down or whatever that mush mash he's got up there and party on the weekends, okay? Like, that guy will go out. Remember Jason Takes Manhattan when he was in New York?
Yeah.
He's walking around, the guys are walking around with the boom boxes and stuff, dude. It was hilarious.
Such an echo of the times he was around in the crazy times. Look at the genesis of the masks. All the different changes. One was Jerry Cheevers was a hockey player in the first one.
Yes.
And they had all these other actors all those years after that. But they stayed with a certain style after a while. And that face was so expressionful. It was so loaded with expression, even though it was a hockey mask.
Yeah.
It morphed more into a human style mask.
Yeah.
Like a leather skin almost.
Jason always had the imposing figure because he was always 6'4", you know, or just an actor of like some huge stature, and he was slow and he was menacing. And when I was doing the notes, I was reading the directors and the writer wanted Jason to feel like he was an unstoppable force.
Well, he was, I think.
Now, initially, the Friday the 13th series was supposed to be an anthology.
Really?
So it was supposed to leave from slasher and go into, you know, different things, but with the popularity of the first movie, how big it was, they kept with it.
Oh yeah.
And they decided that they were gonna stay with the slasher motif. And I was wondering if they went from the mother to Jason because maybe they didn't want to lend themselves too much to the what's that franchise? The Hitchcock one. Huge. Psycho. Yeah. So maybe they didn't want to kind of fall in that range.
But you know, the character maybe the origins of the character, elements of the origin are definitely tied into that a little bit.
Definitely had to be tied into Hitchcock, right?
I mean, that's almost like the first Psycho slasher film. He does slash.
Yes.
In the bathroom, but you know, people didn't do much for another 10, 15 years until 1981 or it was. Or 80, what I think the year was.
I always thought that Jason, and maybe because I was triggered by how scared I was, but I always thought Jason was bigger than Michael Myers, but the Michael Myers franchise was bigger than Jason.
Yeah, it was. Well,
but ladies, if you need a date, if you need somebody to follow on Instagram, check out my boy Jason Voorhees. Yo, is Junior? Who's here? Dude. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Weigh-In. The title of today's episode is Dealing with a Man-Child Ain't Child's Play.
You know it.
So, in this episode, we're going to talk about man-child, man-children, the little boys that refuse to grow up.
And who's the most famous one?
Charles Lee Ray, Mr. Chucky himself.
Chucky himself.
So,
Chucky the pervert.
Number one in this thing, Chucky is the Peter Pan syndrome meets Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh, so fantastic.
So, what that means is a man-child is someone who refuses to grow up. Someone who is not looking for a job, chronically unemployed, not willing to do one's fair share of the household chores, doesn't take care of the financial responsibilities, and just a general failure to launch.
Yeah, he's just looking for trouble. He's looking to pillage. He wants to have a child, which he does later on. He's just an evil son of a bitch and son of a bitch.
Now, Pan's Labyrinth, which is a phenomenal movie, is based on what they call moral disobedience.
Yeah.
So, if correct, this claim entails that citizens that act with the moral rights, that commit acts of public disobedience, but still feel that it is their right to do these things, and when doing so, they feel like they're acting justly. So they feel like it's their right to do bad things, pretty much.